of a live doesn't really mean a lot because I kind of went over this in the live yesterday, and this is the second set. So if you want to figure out what I'm doing, you can go back to that live and it can be explained there. So I'm gonna just knock these out real quick. I'm just adding the lateral lines. So I'm gonna get this going. Get these out of the way. Actually, while this is doing that, I'm gonna go get some paper towels. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. I will do the same if you are a, I guess you would say, content creator. I will do the same. Just comment on like one of the shorts or something so that I could find you quickly. Because as soon as this is over, the comments disappear. How much I spend to make a single lure? All depends on, I guess, if I'm doing it from scratch, which I started doing it from scratch, and that gets expensive, and I see the reason why those guys charge what they charge. They can go from anywhere from $2 up to about $20, depending on the lure, design, and all of the required stuff to do it. Me right now, I am ordering from a couple of companies, some here in the United States, a couple from China, but what I have learned is if you order them from the United States, the quality control is just slightly better because they went through and found out all of the bad lures. You too, man. What's up, Nolan? Fair warning, this is going to get loud. Alright, so as you can see, those lateral lines they look pretty dark in there, but once I take them out of this mesh metal thing that I've put together or smushed against the bodies, the lines won't be nearly as bold. I am aiming for more of a juvenile look, so there are purples, light pinks, and blues, golds, and then over the top there'll be hard greens. So the front of the face here and then over the top of the body will be a dark green. And then we will work on the gill plate for all of them. So I just remade my dark green, aka hunter green. I usually use this for like largemouth bass. It's one of the go-to colors that I use. It's green gold. So it's green and then I put like the gold down, and it's just, this has gold in it, the fade's better. I just made this bottle because I ran out. Hopefully my color scheme is the same. I hadn't had to make this in like over 5 years. The bottle finally ran out. I'm just hoping that it's consistent and not too milky. Nope, I think we're good. So I'm going to spray it on the front of the face and then over the top of the body. To give that look. It gives a more realistic bluegill look. So here's the difference between before green or the dark green that I created. Which doesn't look bad, but I personally think just that hint of dark green gold over the top and on the face looks better. It'll actually make the eye stand out. And then if you ever look at bluegills, if you ever catch one and take a good look at it, around the eye it's always dark. So if it's a brown bluegill, around the eye is brown. If it's green, around the eye is green, and so on and so forth. If there's a moderator in here, and y'all want to get him out of there, you can. I don't know how far down the rabbit hole he's going to go with saying crazy things. Be my guess. As of right now, I guess he's good. We're gonna keep it moving. I don't want to cause any issues. You know, I never go over what I am actually using airbrush wise. I am using a Badger Sotar 2020. This one here is a medium, but I don't know the consistency of the actual paint that I've created. I'll go with the medium. But if I'm using FW ink, that is already like pre-consistency of milk, I could use the Sotar 2020F, the fond. But if I'm using something with some heavy ink, like my opaque white, I would use my heavy Sotar. Make sure that the paint comes out clean and not sputtery or choppy. What clear coat do I like to use? It's called Diamond Clear KDS. I've been using that forever. I've been wanting to try that other one that everyone uses, where you put it under like that light. But the KBS has been working fine for me, mainly because I don't do over 2 joints, so I can dip half the lower if I need to, and then the other half. Do you know the name of that clear coat stuff offhand? I don't even know the name of it. I might be getting ready to say the wrong thing. I think it begins with a T. Now, in between um, sprays, like let's say for instance, I need to carry them home, or I need to move them from here to somewhere else, I use a Spad stick clear coat that it doesn't, what's the name? Um, it's not waterproof. It's just to move it. UV clear. Yeah, UV clear is the one that I would like to try, but I just never got around to doing it. I've had no issues with the diamond. I just use it. I open it once I know I'm going to use it because it doesn't have really long shelf life. You probably can get maybe 6 months out of it. I think that's pretty long. How long have you been airbrushing, if you don't mind me asking? Alright, so the next step that I'm going to do is create a fake gill plate because this blank here did not come with one. What I should have did is I should have created one. I didn't take the time to do it, but I did take the time to put eyes on them. Because if you remember the Storm Lord didn't come with a 3D eye. It was a painted on eye, and it was yellow and black. But what I did after getting these blinks is I took a Dremel tool and cut out the actual bubble in the eye, or sanded it down so that I can create those put those 3D eyes on. Alright, so I'm gonna clean out this brush. Man, I would hate to get rid of this. This is the part, like if I wasn't live, I would literally edit out, cleaning out the brush to go to the next color. Because this is the boring part. Oh, Um, when you have time, if you could search, it must be debate on Instagram if you have an Instagram, and send me a message on there. And I know you said for personal use, but I would like to see the eyes. And depending on if you would sell me some, I will buy them. All right, on to the next step. I've cut out different gill plate shapes, and it's actually from the inside of my fin plate. But because these lures are so small, I'm going to be using just, yes, I remember you from yesterday. How are you? I'm going to use this to create the gill plate. I'm going to use a light blue. It's just going to be a little fine line because here, if you can see it closely, this has the gill plate on there for people to follow. This one, there's no gill plate at all, so I'm going to make one. Just a little light blue, and it will be, let's see if I could, it'd be like around that area, and then putting the ear on that light blue. That'll be it. They'll put the ear on and then the fin, and these should be done paint wise. Is this the light blue that I want to use? Let's see how it looks. This one's consistency is a little bit lean, closer to milk versus that green I just used. So I'm going to go down to my F brush. that's what it would look like if you could see it. It's that line right in between the gill, behind the eye. There you go. There's a better look at it. That's the gill line that I wanted. I don't want it to be too like super dark and it stands out. I don't know if you guys can see that. There it is. Show you guys one more time exactly what I'm doing. Adding that blue gill plate. I don't know why the camera's trying to go light and dark. Alright, that's one or two. Got 8 more to do like that. I don't know if Andrew realizes it or not, but I am live and he is messaging me about my YouTube channel. I wonder if he's watching or not. Oh, okay, all right. I see who it is now. Sorry that you guys can't see exactly what I'm doing because of where the camera's located. don't know if you guys can see that or not. There it goes. You can see it way better on this side. I guess the uh, camera adjusted itself, but I can see it on both sides really well. I don't know why the camera's not adjusting on this side, but that is the bluegill plate line, the gill plate line. If I didn't know any better, I would literally try to make that darker just because the camera wasn't picking it up, but I can see it. So I was taught by someone years ago that it doesn't require a lot of paint to get the color to show, especially once it's cleared. Because I used to put on heavy amounts of paint. Sorry, I'm not doing a lot of talking. I am more concentrated on this line and making sure that it is perfect. That's the line I want. Four more. Didn't realize that this would take so long. What I'm doing, or what I did just now, was there was a little bit of a overrun. You can't see it now. I literally just took my fingernail and just slightly pushed it back up to the line so that it didn't look like splatter. because it's trying to run now. Alright, last two. Got you. I did see it. It popped up under Andrew, and I thought it was the somebody else that I talked to, and I'm like, I'm thinking Andrew's messaging me, but it was you. I got you. I tell you, this is the hardest part of the bluegill that doesn't have an actual gill plate. Creating that gill plate. So I'm going to heat set all of these real quick. I'm going to add the ear. I'm only heat setting them just because of how thin that paint was. And I know if I touch it with my hand, it's going to come off. Alright, next up is black ear. Probably right on the hump of the lure. So I'll put the ear like just a little behind the eye, just so that it matches. If I was wanting to really get fancy, I would have did 2 bluegill line plate lines. That gill line I would have did 2, but I'm not going to get too crazy with these. All right. The boring part, cleaning out the brush for the next color. I've come across some people because I clean brushes as well when I have time for other people. I've come across people who don't clean their brush in between changing colors, and man, is it a headache to clean their brushes out. I have to break it down completely, put it inside of an autoclave, not an autoclave, an ultrasonic. I'm thinking about tattoos. And the thing about the ultrasonic is, if not cleaned correctly, it can mess the brush up. Alright, we're gonna do black. I just wanna spray this so it doesn't dry up. I'll be right back because I just bought a new bottle of black and it is not in here. Just ran out, so I had to order some more. So I will be back. All right, I am back. And there are more people in here. Okay. So this is the black that I use. It's already been I don't know what you would call that, where it's already technically ready to spray. So you don't have to worry about putting any of this stuff in it. The reducer, it's already set with the right amount to spray out of an airbrush. Trying not to get this stuff on my clothes. Oh, man. All right. Being that it's already fine to the consistency of milk, I am going to use my F brush. I have a smaller version of this fin wheel I got years ago from I think it's called Wicketed Paints, or Wicketed Custom Wicketed Lures or something like that. And that's the ear. Right below the hump, but equal to the eye. As I'm looking at some of these pictures on here, some are like dead on the hump technically, but I'm gonna put this one below, so I don't want it to be too high. And it also gives me a placement line as well. I think that's a nice looking bluegill. Yeah, man. I say if you've got time to do it, do it. I only do it from October to December the 1st. I need to do it a little more often myself. I'm lying. To January the 1st. This fin wheel's slightly too big. When I first started doing this bluegill, I was like, I don't know how this is gonna turn out, because some of these colors I have never used, like that Volley-Ho shifter paint. I didn't know how that was gonna turn out, but it actually looks really good as the lateral lines. Not too heavy and not too light. Oh, I'm showing you guys the wrong side. You ever did something like painting or just a custom piece for someone, and it turned out so good that you don't want to get rid of it? That's how I feel about these bluegill right now. I kind of want to keep these and sell the real ones that I have from the store, or I guess the store-bought versions. Keep these, but I know the store-bought versions, everyone has them, and everybody at this show is gonna prefer these versus the store-bought. 4 more. And ooh, hopefully I did not scratch those up. No, we're good. All right. 4 more, 4 more, 4 more. That black comes out so well. How it fades into that blue. And the picture that I'm looking at, the black fades. You got some of them up there that I'm looking at that the air is like a dead stop. I think that might be somebody else's paint job. But the real pictures that I'm looking at, the ears fade. So it's coming out how I want it. Alright, I got a question for you guys. Fin or no fin? I'm gonna go with fin. That's just me. That's a pretty big fin. I'm not gonna go that big. I'm just looking at the placement of the fin to the gill plate. I just want to make sure that it's correct. Alright. I gotta clean this black out of here. Another thing about this FW paint, it's really easy to clean out of the brush versus some of the other stuff. I can just use water or purple power or whatever it's called. That spastic stick stuff, I have to use fingernail polish remover, 70%. And that over time kills my tape that I use to seal the brush, or beeswax. Some people use beeswax. But this stuff here cleans out of the brush pretty easily. This is what I'm using to clean the brush with. I've been using it for about 2 years now versus everything else that I've been trying to find. Airbrush cleaner and all of that different stuff. Not necessary. This I gotta make sure I definitely get out of there because I don't want that black to mix with the next color. All right, so the next step is the fin. I'm looking at what color I want to go with, and I think I'm gonna go with this. It looks like an army green, but once it is sprayed on, it comes out really light. Oh my gosh. Almost got that everywhere. All right, here we go. I'm not gonna do a big fin. I'm gonna do that third, the biggest on this page. I have this horse fin wheel. These fins are humongous, and even though that bluegill's fin looks like it goes like half of its body, I just don't think it looks proportionate. All right, we're gonna give it a try. That doesn't look bad. I think that gives the Lord's realistic look. Is it necessary? No. That's here. Not too bad. Got to say, that came out pretty nicely. I think I'm gonna charge $500 a piece. Man, I forgot that I was even recording or live per se. I've done this sometimes where I'm not paying attention to the time, and when I look, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning. Two more. And then I'm gonna do the underbelly and either a white or a silver. Not 1,000% sure. That silver, it tears up the airbrush. That's the only thing. All right, guys. I like how that came out. Those lateral lines aren't too super bold. They are there at the right angle. I think to avoid tearing up my airbrush, I'm going to go with white underneath versus silver. The boring part, cleaning out the brush. wonder who that one person is watching. I know who the other person is. I don't know who that one person who is watching. I don't know if he's been watching from the beginning or not. I do appreciate you for watching. I hope that you are learning something and that I am giving you information that you can use for yourself in the future. Alright. Final step, white. Well, final pink step. So I have to put the eyes on and clear coat. My bad, I'm doing this off screen. Can you see the difference between the two? On the bottom, it gives it that real realistic look when you add the white. And because they're juvenile, I will not add any orange, even though I kind of want to, but I won't do it. All right, this is the last two. And I am going to get ready to wrap this show up. All right, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Appreciate you all for watching. Until next time, peace out.